I hate my best friend, but I'm going to be her bridesmaid. I met Sophie 10 years ago when we were 16. I didn't like her at first. She was loud, overly friendly, the kind of person who talks to strangers in line at the grocery store. But she saw me laughing with someone in the hallway and decided right then she was going to be my friend. So she started making conversation every single day. In class, at lunch, after school. I'd try to brush her off and she'd just keep going. Eventually, I couldn't ignore her anymore. We were both outsiders, both moved from different schools at the same time. Neither of us had other friends in our final years. So we became inseparable. We stayed close after graduation. Best friends, the kind who talk every day. About 4 years ago, I met Jacob. He was my first boyfriend. I've never been pretty, so he was the first guy to show me attention outside of hookups. He took me on my first proper date. We started planning to move in together, talking about our future. I was truly happy. Then, after a year together, he said words that made my stomach drop. He asked me if I would mind if he could start dating Sophie. I can tell you the exact details of that day. I had just finished work. I'd had a really good day because my favorite dog had come in for grooming. I was driving home, windows down, music on. My phone rang. Jacob. Hey, can we talk? He told me he'd been talking to Sophie for a while, that he fell in love with her, that he wanted to know if it was okay to start dating her. She felt the same way about him, he said, but she told him he had to get my permission first, out of respect. I sat in my car in the driveway, engine still running. How long have you been talking? A few months. A few months. While he was lying next to me, while he was telling me he loved me, while we were looking at apartments together. So you're asking my permission to date my best friend? I wouldn't do it without your blessing. I didn't cry. I didn't yell. I just said it was fine. I went inside, packed all of Jacob's things into garbage bags, and waited. When he came over, I handed them to him with a smile. Congratulations. I hope you're both really happy. He looked relieved, like I'd done him a favor. It wasn't until the next day that I cried, that I got angry. But by then, they were already together, already posting photos, already in love. Sophie has always been the pretty one. That's never been an issue before. Of course she's beautiful. I tell her that all the time. So in my head, it made perfect logical sense. Why would he pick me when he could have her? The resentment has been building ever since. It's not like an I hate this bitch kind of hatred. I'm still her friend, but I can't be around her for longer than a few hours before everything she does starts to annoy me. Why does she look at her phone so much? Why does she expect me to pay for her meals? Why is everything she says only about her? Why does she talk over everyone? You know, those tiny things you used to ignore become unbearable. So I make an excuse and leave before I snap. Last week, Sophie called me. She was crying, happy crying. Jacob proposed. I said all the right things. Congratulations. I'm so happy for you. He's such a great guy. You deserve this. I hung up and stared at the wall for an hour. Yesterday, she asked me to coffee. She held my hand across the table and said, I want you to be my maid of honor. You're my best friend. I can't do this without you. I felt my throat close up. Sophie, please. It would mean the world to me. I wanted to say no. The thought of standing up there, watching her marry my ex-boyfriend, makes me feel physically sick. But if I say no, I'm the bad guy. I'm the bitter friend who couldn't let go, the one who ruined her special day. So I smiled and said yes. She hugged me and cried and said I was the best friend she could ever ask for. Now I'm going to be the maid of honor at my best friend's wedding, to my one and only boyfriend, the guy who asked my permission to leave me for her. And I'll smile. I'll plan the bachelorette party. I'll give a speech about how perfect they are together. I'll stand next to her while she says her vows to the only man who ever loved me. And everyone will think I'm such a good person for being so supportive. Maybe the universe will have mercy and a truck will run me over on the way to the rehearsal dinner or something.